All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the session on Latin America and the Caribbean. My name is Kim Burton. I'm one of the advisors in the office. And so it's my pleasure this afternoon to walk you through some opportunities for study abroad in Latin America and the Caribbean. And there will be time at the end for questions, which you're welcome to put in the chat. And so I will walk you through the slides. And I'm not the advisor for all of these programs. I am for some. And so for some, I do have some notes that I'll be reading from. So I will turn my camera off so you don't have to watch me read, but I will put the camera back on when we get to chat section of the session. And so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. There are a number of different umbrella programs through which we send students abroad, and you can see them listed here. I'm not going to spend any time talking about them using this slide. We'll go ahead and talk about them as we work through the presentation. And then we can come back to this if you have any other additional questions. All right, some things to consider when you are thinking about the programs in the Southern Hemisphere. And so hopefully you're all aware that the seasons are reversed. So if you are looking at programs, south of the equator, and not all of these are south of the equator that we're talking about today, then you do need to keep in mind, obviously, the difference in the seasons from the way we experience them here. And so that's just something to think about if you're considering fall, going in our fall or spring, and what the seasons and the weather might be there. Most of the programs we're going to talk about today are what we call either themed, so they have a topic or an academic discipline tied to them, or they're immersion, where students are actually put into host institutions, host universities abroad, and are taking courses there the same way that you take courses here at UCSD. So you will see those models as we move through the presentation. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about the UC San Diego Global Seminars. These programs are one of our hallmark programs, the office. These are UC San Diego faculty taking small groups of students abroad in the summer to take 2 UC San Diego courses. And all of the global seminars are themed, meaning they have a topic. Our top-notch faculty are leading these seminars. The students who do them every summer really enjoy them and get a lot out of them. You'll have the chance to get to know each other really well, obviously, because it's a small group of students, but you'll also have a great opportunity to get to know a UCSD faculty member well, because you're going to be abroad with them and spending a lot of time together in the classroom and also on excursions. So these are great opportunities. You can see the fantastic disciplines and topics that our faculty have proposed for next summer to study in this part of the world. And so it's great if this works for you, that you are considering global seminars. Most of them will be during first summer session, although there are occasionally a couple that are in second summer session, and that's matching the UC San Diego summer session calendar. And so if you go to the Global Seminar website, you can see the timing for the seminars. And then there's also some other ways you can get more information. So one of the things that Global Seminars does every year is they schedule these Meet the Professor information sessions. And that schedule is already posted on the Global Seminars website and also on our information session page of our website, the studyabroad.ucsd.edu website. And at the Meet the Professor sessions, you'll get to meet the professor, of course. And so he or she will be talking through the details of the program, what their goals are for the program, what you'll be studying, the excursions that will be part of the program. So it's a great opportunity to get to see the professor. Do you feel there's someone that you like, that you can learn from, that what they're describing is interesting to you, that's something that you would want to do. So it's a great opportunity. In addition to that, at the session, our staff will also be going over all the administrative pieces related to global seminars, how to apply, how the process works moving forward, how financial aid works with global seminars, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a great way if you can attend those sessions to get a lot of questions answered in one particular time slot. Plus, you'll be able to meet some other students who might end up going abroad with you. So they're really awesome sessions. I encourage you to attend if you can. As it says here, you will find all of the details on the program on the different program pages, the syllabi, the faculty bio, budgets, et cetera. The applications for global seminars open on November 1st and close on March 1st. And as you can see, applications are processed on a first come, first served basis. And those programs will close once they're full. The global seminars advisors, of which I am not one, they would be able to tell you which of the, oops, I didn't mean to do that, which of the programs will be filling, are expected to fill sooner than others. So that's the global seminars options. And now we'll move on to UCEAP. So UCEAP, this is the University of California Education Abroad program. And these are system-wide programs run by a central office that's based in Santa Barbara. So the UCEAP programs are open to all students at all UC campuses. So if you have friends who are at other campuses, this is often a great way to study abroad together. If if it turns out your interests are in being in a similar place. And so UCEAP is a great way to do that. Some of the basic features of UCEAP will pay the same tuition that you pay here at UC San Diego. If you go on a UCEAP program, all of the credits that you earn come back as UC credit. Everything is posted to your transcript as if you took it here, grades, units, et cetera, and all grades are averaged into your UC GPA. So this is UC coursework. As you can see, there are a number of programs in Latin America and the Caribbean, and I'm just going to touch on each of these very quickly to give you an idea about them. Most of them are themed, but again, there are some immersion opportunities as well. Some of them are all taught in English and others will require some Spanish language proficiency. So again, I will touch on those pieces as we move through the opportunities. All right. Starting with Chile, it's actually 2 themed programs and 2 immersion programs here. So with Chile, the Human Rights and Cultural Memory program, as you can see, you'll get to spend time in both Argentina and Chile, which is really very exciting. And so you will compare the reconstruction of these 2 societies after, following their experience with dictatorship and also the overthrows of those dictators. And so this is a great program for students who are interested in human rights and social justice. It's academically intense, but also rewarding and very impactful for students. This is feedback that we've gotten from them in the past. And then some knowledge of topics related to human rights is helpful, but definitely not required. And this is one way that you can learn about, gain a greater understanding of Latin America from a more Eurocentric perspective in Buenos Aires to a more diverse perspective in Santiago, Chile. So we do have students who participate every year on this particular program. And so I encourage you to check that out if this is a theme that you are interested in studying. Also the social ecological sustainability program in southern Chile. So again, a very unique opportunity for students. You will start with a 2-week intensive Spanish language study in Santiago and then head south to Villarrica for the rest of the term. And this program, as you might expect, includes a lot of field work and courses to help students develop and present environmental planning projects. It says it's a forested lakeside campus with indoor and outdoor classes. And you will get the chance to experience a wide variety of ecosystems and participate in research on the program. And so it says that the required instruction and field activities are physically demanding and something to consider when deciding if the fit is right for you. So the other thing I want to say about human rights and cultural memory and the social ecological sustainability programs are these are the only 2 programs we'll talk about today where there's limited capacity for the number of students that EAP can accept for these programs. So particularly for the sustainability program, if you are interested in that, you want to submit that application on November 1st when the applications open at 9 a.m. the UCEAP applications open at 9 a.m. on November 1. For the human rights program, it will fill, but it doesn't necessarily fill on the day that the applications open. So again, if you're interested, I would get your application in early, but for that one, you may have some additional time. And again, we can circle back to any questions you have about the limited capacity programs when we get to the end of the presentation. So for the PUC, for the Pontifical Catholic University in Chile, this is regular immersion. If you enroll, you'll be taking courses at the university. Courses are taught in Spanish, so there is a language prerequisite. This is one of the top universities in South America, and the majority of our students there do have the option to do internship or service learning opportunities while they're there. You will be really immersed in Spanish. There's little to no English used in the city, so it's a great way to use your language skills and to improve those. And so that is one of the immersion opportunities. The other is the University of Chile. And again, this is study in Spanish for almost any subject, or there are courses in English for business and economics majors, if that happens to be you. It is an independent experience, but you would have, meaning that you'll need to navigate the university more on your own. But we do have staff that's based at the university in Santiago and they can certainly help you. And again, the majority of our students do have that option to do an internship or a service learning experience while they're studying at UChile. So we'll move on to Brazil. With Brazil, this Brazilian Seminars program is a summer only, and it is at the PUC, the Pontifical University in Rio. But it is summer, and it is a multidisciplinary seminar taught in English, but you will get Portuguese language study for beginners, as it says on the slide. And by the end of this program, you should have an understanding of many aspects of Brazilian politics, culture, business, and race relations. You will be studying with international students, and it includes visits to professional settings and excursions around the city. Then at the PUC of Rio, the university, most of the courses are taught in Portuguese. And so there are somewhat limited number of courses taught in English. And as you can see, there is a language requirement in the required language course. There are limited English offerings, as it says, but that can include business disciplines such as business, design, electrical engineering, international relations, sociology, to name a few. So there are definitely opportunities in Rio, but the language issue is obviously something that students need to consider. All right. Tropical biology in Costa Rica. This program has been in existence for many, many years and is very well known within EAP and amongst our students and students in the sciences, and particularly in environmental studies and conservation. And so this program, as you can see, is offered in fall and spring. And we've had many, many, many students from San Diego who have done this program. Monteverde is high in the rainforest. It is a conservation and ecotourism destination. Students will be researching ecology, biology, and natural history in that environment. It is a highly coordinated program with excursions, lectures, lab work, independent field study. And so you'll have the opportunity to build your skills as a researcher and expand your research portfolio. Again, for this program, it's the instruction and field activities are again physically demanding, and so something to consider if you are thinking about it. And students are together 24/7, living together, studying together, doing research together, and so so they can become a very close-knit group. And so you can see that the biological highlights are different with the two terms, which is obvious in that area, depending on the species that you're studying and sort of what they are doing at that time of year. So, but again, amazing opportunities for students interested in this kind of experience in Costa Rica. All right, lots of opportunities in Mexico. So I will quickly go through these so you have an idea of what the programs are about. With the community health program in Oaxaca in the summer, all of the instruction is in Spanish. So that's important to know. There's a language prerequisite. And again, all of these details are on the UCEAP website if you want to dig further into the specifics about any of these programs. This will give students an immersive examination of public health issues as they affect Mexico. You'll have an opportunity for practical experience with community service organizations and also frequent excursions for students. This is an invaluable opportunity for any future family health practitioners. You'll get extensive practice in medical Spanish. It is a popular program. It can fill quickly, but it isn't classified as limited capacity. So just something to be aware of if you're thinking about that particular option. The Contemporary Mexico program, also in the summer, you will take a Spanish language course and then 2 culture and history courses. This is at our center in Mexico City, but would be taught by native and local faculty, so not taught by UC faculty. There is a cultural reflection project and excursions throughout Mexico City that helps you integrate more quickly and at a deeper level into the society, even though the program is a relatively short summer program. So they are trying to help students with that part of the experience, even though it's a shorter summer experience. The Field Research in Mexico program is a full semester and all instruction is in Spanish. This is a unique graduate style of field research program for undergrads. And so you'll get settled in the beginning in Mexico City with the other program participants, and you'll learn about the culture, improve your language skills, and you'll work to refine with our faculty to refine your research project. What is it that you want to do, that you want to investigate during the second part of the semester? And then in that second half of the program, you will go to your research site and conduct research with mentor support and present your findings. And again, this is a program that has existed for a long time that students really love and get a lot out of the experience. As it says, it is pretty much a graduate level or prep for graduate level, and can open doors for students for campus research assistantships or help to kickstart any kind of graduate study and give you ideas about projects. So another amazing opportunity. The Leadership in Social Justice and Public Policy, as you can see, is in Mexico City and Sacramento and is a year-long program total. And so it starts at UNAM, the National University in Mexico City, and where there are many courses available. And then you will work on a custom internship arranged with the UC Sacramento Center in conjunction with the program during the second half. This is a great opportunity for political science students, and also a unique opportunity for students interested in Latino issues in California or binational issues between California and Mexico. So I encourage you to take a look at that if that is of interest to you. And then with UNAM, the National University in Mexico, if you're not aware, it's a huge university physically and size and number of students. I've actually been there, I've seen it, it's amazing. However, even though it's large, there are lots of small class sizes. This is complete immersion into a Mexican academic institution and cultural life. There is an optional internship for students. And even though the campus is very large, they do have a campus transit system that helps students get around. All right. Then for the Dominican Republic, this is also themed. So this is community and public health in Santiago. And obviously it says good practice for Spanish health and prevention related vocabulary. And it combines traditional classroom instruction with fieldwork, similar to what you've seen in other programs in urban and semi-rural communities. And you will get practical skills as a bilingual health professional. There are 6 weeks of courses in semi-urban Santiago, and then a 2-week-long clinical rotation in a rural area and urban Santo Domingo. So again, lots of opportunity with medical terminology in Spanish and how to interact with patients and medical staff in clinical settings. So you will leave with a unique understanding of health management, preventive medicine programs, and current development issues facing underserved areas in this particular country. Okay, so those are the program highlights. Just wanted to share some important information. As I mentioned, the programs with limited capacity, we talked about human rights and the Chile program, and also community health. Tropical biology also has it, but again, it's not an issue that it fills on the day that the application's open. So, so that one is a little bit less urgent, but important if you want to consider it. One thing to know about the UCEAP application, there's no application fee to apply to UCEAP, so you can submit that application if you're concerned about getting a space on a particular program, and then know that there will be a later withdrawal deadline. And that's something that once you decide, you can meet with one of us as an advisor and we can explain that further for you. But just something to think about if you're not 100% sure on November 1. That's okay. I would go ahead and do the application so that you've got a spot, but just know that you would be able to withdraw later, and there is no application fee on the UCEAP side of things. We do charge students $100 for our application when it's submitted in our database in Tritons Abroad, and that's a one-time administrative fee. And you only pay it once in your UCSD career. So if you applied once, like for one of these programs, let's say on November 1, and we assessed you the fee and then you end up not going, we're not going to charge you again if you decide you're going to go a year from now and you're going to study abroad and you're going to do a different program. So that you do need to be aware is something that you would lose if you were to submit the application and not go. But EAP does not charge students to apply. So I'm happy to explain that further if necessary. All right, so application steps for EAP. It says there are 2 applications. So I just mentioned our side of the operation, the UC San Diego side, and then UCEAP, the system-wide office. So it's really 2 databases. So our database is Tritons Abroad, as you can imagine. And then the UCEAP has their own portal. And so you'll be entering data in both, but they're very easy. Most of these applications do not require any essays, do not require letters of recommendation from faculty. You're just going in and filling in some data at this point in the process and then submitting them, and usually with an upload of your academic history printed from Triton Link. So it's not even official transcripts that are required. So it's pretty straightforward. There may be a few exceptions to that as I've described it, but overall, lots of students think, oh my gosh, 2 applications, it's going to take me forever, and it really doesn't. But just know that we need you to do both. Tritons Abroad will pull a lot of your basic information in from the UCSD mainframe computer. So you're not going to have to enter your name, your PID, your address, all of that gets pulled in. And so you're just going to tell us which program you're applying to, when, and there's a few other questions. So it's pretty straightforward. And then UCEAP is also, not complicated. So, so don't be put off by the 2 applications. The Tritons Abroad application is open now, and so you can go in. I would say go in at least register in Tritons Abroad, which is basically going in and activating your account and answering a few basic questions for us. Even if you're not sure which program you want to apply to at this point, you can go in and do the registration step in Tritons Abroad, and then that'll be done. But you don't have to. You can wait until the EAP application's open and you're ready to go and do it at the same time. So it really is not, it's really up to you. As you can see here, the UCEAP fall summer year programs for starting next summer of 24 will open on November 1st at 9 a.m. And then the UCEAP for any spring programs of 2025 will open on April 15th of next year. Check deadlines here. So yeah, I was going to say there is the path. You can get the application deadlines on our website, which is studyabroad.ucsd.edu, and you can see the pull downs there, but I think it's pretty explanatory. When you get there, you'll see the events and deadlines link under the students tab at the top. All right, we'll talk a little bit about finances so you understand how financial aid works. Obviously, when you look at all of these programs, you will see a projected budget, whether it's the EAP programs or whether it's the global seminars, you will see those. And those are estimated budgets at this point for next year, but they're pretty good representation of what we expect the fees to be for the programs. And it will tell you on both sites which expenses are included in those budgets and which are not. So you also need to be thinking about that. As a general rule, if you are getting financial aid from UC San Diego, your financial aid can go with you on study abroad programs, most of them, certainly on these 2. being UCEAP and global seminars. Important to note in the two boxes here that there are different pools of aid money available at different times of year. So during the academic year, which is what the year financial aid means, depending on the program details and your own individual eligibility, you may be able to get financial aid from any of these sources that you see here. So Cal Grant, Pell Grant, institutional aid, which is UCSD grant, basically, university loan, or federal private loans. So you can think about, if you're getting financial aid now, you can think about, if you know what your sources are and where your money is coming from, that's probably what you'll be getting for next year, unless your family's financial situation changes drastically, and that your FAFSA would be very different for next year. And so you can sort of estimate that that would be what you would get. And so by quarter or by term. So, and it does vary depending on how much aid. Sometimes for some program students, they'll get like a third of what you would get in a year. And for other program students would get half of what you're getting. So depending on the calendar and where you're going, there may be a difference there. For summer, you can see there are many fewer pools of money that students can pull aid from. So, for example, there's no Cal Grant in summer, and it's because the agency that governs Cal Grant doesn't provide the money in the summer because it's not a regular quarter for the university. So there is no Cal Grant in the summer. There is Pell Grant. There is UCSD grant in the summer. The maximums for those funds the last couple of years have been $2,000 maximum each. So if you are a student who gets UCSD grant and summer Pell, you might get a maximum of $4,000 to put towards your program expenses. And so you just need to understand that that's going to be the max, and it would depend on your eligibility. And maybe your program budget is $10,000. So you need to understand that with summer aid, there is less aid for students. You can also see that if you have any unused loans from the previous year, you can ask for those to apply towards the summer program. And then switching really quickly to scholarships, there are study abroad scholarships that our students apply for every year and receive. And so we have a database on our website. We will also have a handout, although it hasn't been updated yet, for 24-25 on our website that identifies for you the more common scholarships that our students receive. But we do help students with all of this information, with applications for the scholarships. UCEAP has their own scholarship application. So if you're doing, and funds. So if you're doing a UCEAP program, you would have access to those. There are some, as it says, national scholarship funds that we help students with, and we will help you with essay writing. So that information is on our website, but more to come as the year progresses on those. But the scholarships will be used to offset any loan that you have in your financial aid package for a study abroad. So it's a great thing, to do. Definitely apply, even if you haven't gotten a scholarship in the past, because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe lucky. And we have students every year who say that. So I applied, as a freshman coming in, I didn't get anything. But then when you apply for a study abroad scholarship, they are successful. So the other thing we have is we have an amazing designated study abroad financial aid advisor. His name is Eduardo. He works out of financial aid, but he works only with study abroad and study abroad students. And so he has the link that you see here where it says amazing financial aid study abroad info, is all information that Eduardo has posted. And so if you haven't had a chance to look at that yet, you can certainly do that. He's got very specific detailed information by program type as to how financial aid will work for that program. So I encourage you to do that. He is available at our drop-ins on Friday mornings, and you can send him an email. What's usually the most helpful for you and for Eduardo is once you've decided on a program, or even applied to a program, then reach out to him, and he can actually give you an estimate of what your aid might look like for the program you're considering. If you have 5 or 6 programs, that doesn't work so well, that you're considering. So it's best if you can get, obviously ideal, narrowed down to 1, but even if you want to compare 2, he can do that for you. But we're very fortunate. I think there are only 3 campuses in the UC system that have a designated study abroad financial aid advisor, and we are one of them. So you are all very fortunate, and so are we, to be able to have him as part of the team. So I just want to make sure that you understand that. Our fall events, just want to remind you, if you're interested in global seminars, please attend the Meet the Professor sessions if you can. And I believe those are recorded. So if you cannot attend the session live, that you would be able to view the recording. There's also a global exchange session coming up if you're interested in that, which we didn't talk about because there aren't programs in this area of the world, but there are options. Today obviously was a regional information session. There are others, so if you're exploring other regions of the world, I encourage you to attend those. We do offer academic discipline sessions, although I don't know that any of those has been scheduled yet. And then Eduardo has set up a number of financial aid and scholarship sessions, and I really encourage you to take a look at those. All of this information is on our Get Started page on our website, and you can find those sessions. And if you can go to one of those aid scholarship sessions with Eduardo, that will also answer a lot of your funding questions. And then we have our annual Expo Study Abroad Fair on Monday, October 23rd, which will be in Town Square. And so with a number of us and program options and others there to answer questions for you if you can join us on that day. So there's the flyer about the fair. And so now I will take my I will turn my camera on. And if any of you have any questions or want any clarification, please feel free to put them in the chat and I will be happy to answer them for you. And if anybody wants to leave, that's the end of the formal part of the presentation. Thank you for being here. I hope it was helpful. Oh, and I should say you can always reach us in virtual advising or through our drop-in hours, which are posted to our website. And so right now, that's the easiest way to get a hold of us is using VAC or coming to drop-ins during that schedule. You thought you saw programs in Puerto Rico and Argentina. Puerto Rico is a global seminar, and that's right. That wasn't on the slide, so you're correct about that. And then I don't remember if there's one in Argentina as well on that for global seminars. So you might check that part of the website. Hopefully that helps. Any other questions from anybody or anything else I can clarify? All right. If not, we can go ahead and sign off. So thanks, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you at drop-ins or at the fair or any of the other information sessions. So thank you for attending.